What is going on, guys? It's Cameron, and we've got the all-new, all-different Avengers on screen right now. This is issue 2, picking it back up from when I reviewed issue 1 yesterday, and as we know, it got a little bit crazy. Now, I honestly have to say that I am really excited to be reviewing this series. I don't know why, but you know, like the Invincible Iron Man series, if you've seen my reviews for those, then you know that I absolutely love that series, and I kind of have the same feeling for this as well. Like, I just look forward to these issues releasing for some reason. But anyway, getting into the review, so in the previous issue we saw, I think it was Warbringer, we saw him teleport into the old Avengers Tower and just obliterate Captain America, Spider-Man, and Iron Man, so we're going to have to see how that turned out. So without further ado, guys, let's jump into it, let's get into this review, and let's go! So when we got to the end of the previous issue, I actually said that I wonder if someone will come to save these guys, wonder what will happen. Well, it turned out that Warbringer pretty much just left them there. And something that I loved right off the bat was Spider-Man was actually webbing up Captain America's wounds, and usually you don't see that happening, so you can obviously think that maybe Captain America has third-degree burns or something like that now. It seems pretty serious, especially since Spider-Man says that he's got to have treatment to get it like sorted or whatever. I mean, that's pretty crazy. But we also got a very nice introduction from Vision, and I like how the comic utilised him for a purpose. Like, he didn't just kind of pop in like, yes, I'm here now. Like, he turned up and actually got Iron Man, Tony Stark, out of his Iron Man suit, which I'm assuming that it was burnt shut, like, because obviously when Warbringer did that like explosion of fire, I'm assuming that Tony Stark is talking about his suit being sealed shut by melted shut, and that's why he couldn't get out or something. But either way, Vision was there to get him out of it, and yeah, that was awesome. Now, in the previous issue, I actually did mention that this is the Tony Stark out of the Invincible Iron Man series, which I've actually reviewed, so if you want to go check that out, then yeah, just go check that out. But in the previous issue, I mentioned that Tony Stark is awesome in that. Like, he has a good sense of showing off, he's got a good sense of humour, and he actually does a little bit of showing off in this and just a bit of badassness by already having a spare Iron Man suit ready, and he actually said it's Ubered, which I really love because that kind of says that, right, the suit's ready for him, it's getting prepared. That was really awesome. So as you can see on screen right now, Nova has appeared back into the comic, and I think it's inevitable that he's obviously going to run back into Miss Marvel, especially after the awkward encounter that he had with her in the previous issue. And as you guys saw from our review, I was a little bit confused with that encounter between Nova and Miss Marvel because it was kind of pointless. I don't know, like maybe it's not pointless now because they actually meet in this issue as well, but yeah, the villain in that was just really like pointless. It was just a throwaway villain. I didn't really like that too much. But I love how they've expanded on that encounter by not having a throwaway villain. They've actually brought Warbringer to Nova and Miss Marvel, so Miss Marvel and Nova actually have a powerful adversary to go up against. Now, once again, Miss Marvel is more concerned about the environment and the people and the building that they're stood in. They're stood in a museum, and I just thought it was hilarious how Nova just comes straight through the window. Like, Miss Marvel has actually ran through the front door and everything, and then Nova just flies straight through the window, breaks the glass, and just has no respect for the building whatsoever. Something that I didn't particularly expect was for me to actually agree with Nova, because we've got here where Warbringer actually blows up some buildings, they set on fire, and Nova actually collapses a building to contain the fire. And obviously Miss Marvel is a little bit angry about that. She's like, what are you doing? That's people's homes. But I actually agreed with Nova when he said that Warbringer doesn't care about people. And I actually think that he did the right thing by, you know, thinking ahead. Maybe knocking a building down, taking away people's homes to, like, stop a fire. But at least he stopped the fire from killing other people. Also, as you can see, that part where Miss Marvel is calling Nova a jerk, that was actually the first page of issue 1. I don't know why it was on the first page of issue 1, but, like, yeah, it was there, so hopefully you remember it. Now, going into one of the best pages of the comic, in my opinion, is the part where Miss Marvel and Nova are just kind of talking, and then the Avengers swoop down and pick Miss Marvel and Nova up. Miss Marvel is absolutely gobsmacked that this has happened. She's like fangirling over the Avengers. And I love how Miles Morales is just kind of surfing Iron Man. I thought that was really awesome to see. Almost like they're already an Avengers team. I totally didn't expect to see Warbringer actually feeding off the life force of humans. Like, wait a minute, sorry, he's feeding off the matter of what humans are made of. But you get what I mean. And I don't know if you remember this, but the panel where all of them are kind of shooting all at the same time, very reminiscent of the Avengers Age of Ultron scene where all the Avengers are shooting at Ultron. It looks like Miles Morales is shooting a blue beam out of his hand, almost like Iron Man, and then you realise that it is actually Iron Man doing that, but for some reason his armour glove looks like Miles Morales' costume, but yeah, I just realised that. So as we move on throughout the comic, we actually learn what Warbringer is actually doing, and his task is to become immortal. Also whilst killing the human race and killing Nova and all the other superheroes, but that's besides the point. Now, in my opinion, I don't actually think that's the big task. Like, surely there's something else coming out of this. He's collecting these Chitauri objects. He wants to become immortal, but surely this guy, this other guy that owns the Avengers building, is working with Warbringer. So I think something more is going to come from that than just becoming immortal. Also, something that I forgot to mention was that guy that was actually talking to Warbringer, you know, like kind of teaming up with him, he spoke to the Avengers in the Avengers Tower earlier on in the comic, which I forgot to mention, and Miles actually mentioned that he couldn't remember who was talking to Warbringer, and obviously I think that's because that guy wiped it from his memory or something like that. It's almost like we're being reintroduced to Morlun again, you know, like where you didn't know who Morlun was in the Spider-Verse until later on. It's almost like that's happening now. Also, as you can see on screen, we got Thor introduced into this comic, into this series, and everyone is absolutely gobsmacked when Thor's hammer actually teleports through a portal and goes behind Warbringer. Obviously not knowing that that guy did it, they can't see him up there. They don't know that that guy who owns the Avengers Tower is behind all this. But once these guys disappear, I don't know what happens, but does a giant portal open or something? Or is that just like a massive wave of water coming towards them? I don't know, but either way, it looked awesome, and that is where the issue ended. And I honestly have to say that this issue was a hell of a lot of fun. But what did you guys think about it? Let me know in the comments below. We can talk about it, we can discuss ideas, we can discuss what the heck this guy is doing, why he's here, and all that crazy stuff. Now, as for the comic, I'm just going to give it an 8 out of 10 again. I feel like a 9 is a little bit too much. I'd probably go for a bit more of an 8.5, but I don't really do 0.5, so I'll just stick to an 8 for now. The comic was fun, the dialogue from Miles Morales was awesome, and I honestly have to say that I actually enjoyed the encounter between Miss Marvel and Nova this time. Like, in the first issue, it was a little bit confusing, it was a little bit pointless to me, but in this issue, it made sense and it was awesome, so yeah. Now that is the end of the video, guys, but if you want to stay up to date on all the comic book news and updates on my videos, etc., follow me on Twitter and my Facebook page, the links are in the description, and if you want, you can follow me on Instagram as well. Now, as for staying up to date, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on this video, and I will see you all next time.